Welcome to Clawhammer Supply. I'm Kyle and I'm going to show you how to assemble our 6.5 gallon stainless steel keg fermenter. It's an all-in-one keg that you can ferment in as well as serve out of. Like somebody said in the comment on the last video we did on the keg, it's like the Swiss Army knife of kegs and fermenters. You can add a bunch of cool stuff to it like a blow-off tube, a sanitary spunding valve, a ball lock spunding valve, a hop dropper, a nitro or CO2 gas stone, a floating dip tube, and an insulation jacket. It also comes standard with a thermal well that accommodates a temp probe, so you can perfectly dial in fermentation and serving temps using an external temp controller. The only tool you'll need to assemble the main components of the keg is a wrench or a pair of pliers. My first choice would be a crescent wrench, but regular pliers, locking pliers, channel lock pliers, a keg wrench, or even a socket wrench will do. The first step is going to be to install the thermal well. We've included a roll of thread tape for this, and you're going to want to apply a lot of it on the thermal well. In fact, I'd suggest wrapping the threads about 10 times. After that, screw it into the lid, but don't tighten all the way just yet. Next, install the 4-inch gasket and lid on the keg using the tri-clamp fitting. You want to do this next so you can hug the keg to get some leverage while tightening the thermal well. I'd suggest using a crescent wrench for this. Next thing you'll install will be your choice of a gas or a liquid post in the lid. The keg comes with one of each. If you plan on adding a gas stone, install the gas post, which has a notch in the side. If you want to install a floating dip tube, install the liquid post, which does not have a notch in the side. To install them, put the stopper and the spring in the post, drop the mini dip tube in the lid opening, and screw the post down onto that. A keg wrench with an 11/16 inch ratchet works best for this. Next, you will install the gas and liquid posts in the keg. Install the notched gas post with the mini dip tube on the side of the keg labeled in. Install the liquid post with the long dip tube on the side of the keg that says out. After that, install the cord grip in the thermal well. This does not require thread tape. Just take the top nut off the cord grip, screw it down onto the thermal well, tighten gently, then reinstall the nut. After that, install the 1.5-inch gasket and cap using a tri-clamp fitting. Honestly, we put a lot of fittings into a very small area on top of this keg, and tightening the tri-clamps can be a bit tricky. We're working on a tool to help with this, but in the meantime, I'd suggest using the end of a flathead screwdriver for a bit of leverage if you want things to be a bit more snug. The last thing you would want to do is pressure test the keg. I'd suggest filling it most of the way with water so you don't waste a lot of CO2 while you're doing this. Add a gas line on the gas post, which is the one that says in, and increase the pressure to 50 psi. Then spray the fittings with liquid. Star sand works best for this because it will make bubbles if there is a leak. If you find a leak in the thermal well fitting, release all the pressure in the keg, uninstall the fitting, add more thread tape, then reinstall. If you find leaks in any of the tri-clamp fittings or posts, release all the pressure in the keg, uninstall, make sure you've installed the gaskets, reinstall them, then tighten them. If they're still leaking, just tighten them a bit more. This keg has a lot of awesome utility, but with great power comes great responsibility. You need to be extremely careful when removing fittings from this keg. Never ever remove the lid or the fittings from the keg while it is under pressure. We posted warnings in several locations, but you need to be aware of this while working with the keg. So I'll say it again, never remove the lid or the fittings from the keg while it is under pressure. And pro tip, the easiest way to relieve pressure is to pull the pressure relief tab, twist it half a turn, and let it rest back onto the plastic housing. Then just leave it sit until you no longer hear gas escaping from the valve. After that, pull it up, turn it half a turn, let it back down to reseal. We're gonna follow this video up with another one that explains all of the accessories we have available, so make sure to check that video out as well. Thanks for watching, and happy brewing, fermenting, and drinking. Cheers.